Hello there, Rebecca.
Hi.
How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Excellent. Today I will be doing my presentation on my article that I've chosen from Metro Vancouver, and it's called 8 Signs Your Child May Be Going Through Depression. So it is kind of dark and very sensitive because usually people don't like to talk about those kind of issues. But I'll tell you in a little bit why I've chosen this one. But before that, this article would be used for my Link level 6 or 7 class. So mostly refugees and immigrants. And I broke it down basically in terms of the article itself. It's a relatively short article, so I actually didn't even cut anything from it because I felt as though everything that was in the text was helpful and there was no unnecessary information. Everything flowed very nicely, and I actually kept everything because I thought everything was important. And it breaks down into 3 points actually. So the actual signs themselves, and then tips for parents on coping, and then where to get help. So, in terms of my lesson plan, I would have, so the vocabulary words, there are 5 of them, which are irritability, isolating, overwhelming, traumatic, and coping. So very much in tune with the whole topic of depression itself. And would start it off with schema activation. So I would play maybe like 1.5 2-minute video of someone displaying depression. So I was thinking maybe like a mother talking to her son who's going through depression. There's a lot that you can find from TV shows and just commercials, and I don't know, there's a lot of material out there, so that's not a problem. And then after I would show that to my students, ask them what they saw and how the kid was responding, because there's definitely very concrete signs of depression in kids. So those signs have to be detected as early as possible. And then so the questions are like, what did you see? What the kid was, how was the kid reacting? What is the kid going through? And then I would ask them maybe a few personal questions. But I would before we'd start actually say that, you don't have to share any of that information with us. If it's too personal, if it's too hurtful to you, just say my friend is experiencing something like that, so it's not directly it's not you who's experiencing it, so you're kind of hiding it from them. And so you'd ask them, have you ever experienced depression yourself or someone who suffers from it? How does it make them feel? And then you can kind of just discuss a few questions regarding that and go from there. Then would have the vocabulary exercise, so matching the definition with the word. Also, I included other familiar words alongside the 5 main words. Because I feel like 5 is just not enough. But they are very important to the passage itself. So, but these 5 would definitely be there. And then the actual task would be reading the passage here. And then I would ask them just questions and detailed questions. They would include questions like, what's the main idea of this passage? What are the 2 types of depression? Because in the passage they talk about 2 types of depression. Also a few more detailed questions such as, what's the percentage of children with mental disorders unable to access treatment options? What is one thing that is essential you can do as a parent helping your child with depression? What are the 8 signs that may suggest your child is going through a depression? What can parents do to battle depression in kids? And how can depression influence your kids on a daily basis? And also, is there a right way to speak to your kids about depression? Because the article tells us that it's actually, there's no right answer.
Okay.
It's just the way you approach it. But you definitely want to approach it with care and some respect. You don't want to kind of just go all in and make him look like a victim, or because there's a lot of cultural differences. I mean, a lot of cultures actually don't even have that phenomena, depression, because it's not really found. So
really?
a lot of it is actually Western. So, and that brings me to why I would even want to talk about depression with my students, is because if they don't come from a place where depression is not even an issue at all, especially in Asian countries, where individualism is not really valued, it's all about the community.
Yeah.
And so when they come here, they find that, hey, there's a thing that's called depression here. And so I feel like it's very important for my students who are refugees and immigrants to realize the dangers of depression here.
Yeah, yeah.
And because the kids will socialize faster than their parents, there's a chance that they might actually, develop depression, or they're just more susceptible to that.
Yeah.
And so that's why I would love to talk with my students about depression. And then would go over the answers with the students. If they feel comfortable, they can share their answers with me and their personal experiences.
Yeah.
If not, I totally understand that. I will definitely bring a few of my examples just to kind of illustrate the point even further. And then for my post task, it would be a writing assignment. So, and the instructions are: imagine your child is going through depression. He has agreed to listen to you. Write a monologue, so like a paragraph of 7 to 8 sentences, about basically how you would approach that, and
Okay.
how you would even bring it up to talk to your kid about depression.
Yeah.
Because in the article it says that one way, well, first of all, by recognizing the 8 signs, you can then take steps to talk to your kid and get help if needed. But the parental advice has to be there, because if it's not the parents, then at that point it might be too late. So the parents have to get involved, and this would be kind of a good real life situation.
Yep.
Writing a monologue, talking to your kid about this problem that he might have.
Well, role play is important for that type of thing.
Yeah.
Right?
See, I didn't choose role play because I thought it would take it too far a bit.
Or monologue. I'm thinking, writing out, thinking out how you would treat a situation, how you would deal with a situation can help, right?
Yeah. And nobody loves to deal with this kind of stuff, but but it is out there, and it's pretty prevalent. So it's good to at least know the signs and at least know where to start.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm introducing this concept to my students. And so after they complete the writing assignment, I will ask a few volunteers to read it over. Again, if they're not comfortable, I'll just, if there's literally no responses, I'll just collect them and mark them on my own. If they will share it, then I'll definitely praise them for their willingness to participate, and I'll be very respectful. And at least it starts the conversation about this topic. That's what we need to do, even though it may be very foreign to some of them, and probably most of them.
As if they're coming to Canada, it's a
like,
good thing to be aware of.
Exactly. And then, I would just collect the assignment. That would be my lesson plan. Do you have any questions?
Would they do the writing in class, or would they take it home?
See, it depends whether we have time. I think I do have enough time to give them time to actually write it and then discuss it. If not, they can start writing in class and then just finish it at home.
Good,
Because
yeah.
I feel like 7 to 8 sentences to us may not seem that much at all, but to them it might take it might take some time. So, but you know, the monologue has to be lengthy because you're talking to a kid,
Yeah.
and you're not gonna just say 3 things to him and that's it. You definitely would want to have like an in-depth, personal conversation with him, and not just
Yeah.
like, I don't even know, but you understand the point.
Yes, yeah.
Um,
I don't think I have any edge questions. You have vocabulary, you have the reading activity, you have a writing activity. Those are good. I think it's a very important topic,
oh yeah, in terms
Yeah.
of
a relevant topic.
For sure.
For being a newcomer, you don't know where these people, where the new
Mhm.
arrivals came from.
Yeah.
And maybe they're dealing with things, even if they don't have depression, they know that from this article that there's resources, or that they can get help here.
yeah.
You can reach for help.
And if anything, they can always come to me if they have
Yeah.
issues as well, and I can
Refer them.
redirect them to
Yeah.
actual like legitimate services.
Yeah.
Also, where I would use this in terms of my what's it called? I'm blanking right now. Like, if looking at it from a bigger picture,
Okay.
where I would place this lesson plan would be somewhere where we're talking about cultural differences
Okay.
and cultural, maybe even similarities. I would squeeze it in somewhere there, because that way not only introduces a very important topic, it introduces something that is already tied with the bigger topic at hand, which is like cultural differences.
Yeah.
So I would try to squeeze it in somewhere there, so it kind of flows together and it doesn't stick out like a sore thumb. But yeah, I do understand the scope of this topic by itself. It's heavy,
Yeah.
and it's just not fun
But if
to
you
talk
fit
about
it into a whole thing, a few lessons with that being one of the topics, I think
Yeah.
that's good. It's important information.
And because most of my students are going to be refugees, and they usually tend to be parents already, or immigrants coming here for looking for a job.
Yeah.
They probably already have kids,
Yeah.
and so this is actually very much relevant
Yes. Yeah.
to see if your child is, displaying some sort of signs of depression.
You could even help the parents too.
Yeah,
right?
that too.
How they are
Oh, for sure,
cue
there's-
into their own problems.
Yeah, like I remember even personally talking when we immigrated here, like it wasn't that easy for us either. Not only not knowing the language and like not having friends, but like finding a job and like all that stuff. So it was like kind of hard on my parents too. I didn't really feel it because I was just a kid going to school, but they're the ones that are supposed to, keep the food on the table
Okay.
and like actually making sure that we survive.
Wow. Yeah.
So for them, now that I look at it, it was very tough, and they
Yeah.
probably even had like maybe minor depression or something.
Yeah.
I can definitely see that happening.
Looking back now.
Yeah, because my mom didn't work for quite some time, so just sitting at home studying English, like it
It
could.
doesn't bring in the bread.
No. So I mean, yeah, it's not a very fun topic to deal with, but one that needs to be addressed.
I like your topic. It's good.
Yeah, and I think that's about it for my reading microteaching.
Okay. Bravo.
Thank you.